Welcome to a journey through the golden era of Mercedes-Benz. Before the S-Class nameplate was officially minted in 1972, a series of legendary machines defined what a luxury flagship should be. From the rounded Ponton to the elegant W108, these cars were more than transport. They were engineering statements. Today, we explore the lineage that established the three-pointed star as the ultimate symbol of prestige. We will look at the W180, the W111 Fintails, and the powerhouse W109, analyzing their design, safety innovations, and the mechanical soul that makes them highly coveted by collectors today. Whether you are a restorer or an enthusiast, understanding these 18 years of automotive history is essential to appreciating the modern luxury landscape. Our story begins in 1954 with the W180. Affectionately known as the Ponton due to its bulbous, bridge-like body styling. This was Mercedes-Benz's first totally new design following World War II. It moved away from the separate chassis and fender look of the pre-war era toward a fully integrated unitary body construction. The 220A and 220S models featured a 2.2-liter inline-six engine that provided smooth, reliable power. This car introduced the world to the three-box design, which became the standard for sedans globally. It was a car that prioritized structural rigidity and interior space, offering a quiet, composed ride that outclassed its contemporaries. By 1959, the automotive world was changing, and Mercedes-Benz responded with the W111, known as the Heckflosse or Fintail. While the fins were a nod to American styling trends of the time, they were much more conservative and served a functional purpose as parking aids. But under the skin, the Fintail was a revolution in safety. Designed by the legendary Bela Baronini, it was the first production car to feature front and rear crumple zones. The W112 300 SE variant added even more luxury, including air suspension and power steering, features that were virtually unheard of in the early 60s. It was a vehicle that proved luxury and safety were not mutually exclusive. Safety has always been the DNA of the S-Class lineage. The Fintail models weren't just about absorbing impacts. They were about protecting the passengers inside a safety cell. This rigid cabin prevented the doors from jamming after a crash, allowing occupants to escape. In addition to the structural innovations, this era saw the introduction of the padded steering wheel and dashboard surfaces to reduce injury. Mercedes-Benz performed hundreds of crash tests during this period, using early mannequins to study the effects of high-speed collisions. Every time you step into a modern car today, you are benefiting from the pioneering work done on these W111 and W112 models in the late 1950s. In 1965, Mercedes-Benz moved away from the fins and toward a more understated, timeless aesthetic with the W108 and its long wheelbase sibling, the W109. Designed by Paul Bracq, these cars featured a lower waistline and larger windows, creating an airy, light-filled cabin. The W108 utilized coil spring suspension, while the W109 was equipped with sophisticated self-leveling air suspension. These models are often cited by enthusiasts as the most beautiful sedans ever built. They lacked the ornateness of previous generations, opting instead for clean lines and a commanding presence. Even today, a well-maintained W108 looks perfectly at home in the valet line of a five-star hotel. Performance took a massive leap forward in 1968 with the introduction of the 300 SEL 6.3. It started as a secret project by engineer Eric Waxenberger, who stuffed the massive M100 V8 engine from the 600 Grand Mercedes limousine into a W109 body. The result was the world's fastest production sedan at the time. With 250 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, it could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6.5 seconds, performance that rivaled dedicated sports cars like the Porsche 911. It was the original sleeper, a car that looked like a conservative executive sedan but had the heart of a racing beast. This car laid the foundation for what would eventually become the AMG division. The interior of a 1960s Mercedes-Benz is often described as feeling like a vault. Every switch, lever, and dial was engineered to last a lifetime. High-quality materials like real wood veneers, often burl walnut or macassar, adorned the dashboard. The seats were upholstered in either high-grade leather or the legendary MB Tex, a vinyl so durable it often looks new even 50 years later. A signature feature was the vertical Lampion instrument cluster in the earlier Fintails, which moved to a more traditional twin-dial setup in the W108. These cabins were silent, smell of aged leather and wood, and offered a tactile experience that modern digital screens simply cannot replicate.
If you're looking to buy one of these classics, you'll be happy to know they are famously over-engineered. The inline-six engines, M130 and M180, are capable of 200,000+ miles with basic maintenance. However, there are things to watch for. Rust is the primary enemy, especially in the floor pans, sills, and wheel arches. On the W109, the air suspension system can be expensive to overhaul if the bellows or valves fail. Parts availability is surprisingly good through the Mercedes-Benz Classic Center, though some trim pieces are becoming rare. Regular oil changes and cooling system flushes are the keys to keeping these vintage stars on the road for another half-century. Values for these predecessors have seen a steady climb over the last decade. While the 300 SEL 6.3 is the undisputed king of the market, often fetching six-figure prices for pristine examples, the W108 280 SE and the W1111 Fintails remain relatively accessible for new collectors. The W1111 coupes and cabrios are the most sought after for their elegant styling, often commanding a significant premium over the sedans. When buying, history is everything. A car with a documented service log and original interior will always be a better investment than a cheap project that needs significant metalwork. These cars aren't just vehicles, they are blue-chip assets in the world of classic automotive investing. The era of the Ponton, Fintail, and W108 came to a close in 1972, paving the way for the W116, the first car to be officially called the S-Class. However, the DNA of those predecessors remains in every Mercedes-Benz sold today. They established the brand's reputation for indestructible build quality, safety leadership, and a level of luxury that was sophisticated rather than flashy. Owning one of these cars today is a way to connect with a period when engineers, not accountants, ran the show at Stuttgart. Thank you for joining us on this look back at the icons that built the legend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us your favorite Mercedes-Benz generation in the comments below.